Hello and welcome to another video. Subject for this one is this very play worn indeed spot on Rover P5 3litre. Poor thing's had a hell of a time. Chunks of the bumper are missing, most of the chrome has gone. Rear bumper's missing entirely, it's got no tyres, a cracked screen, barely any paint left on it. And if I ever saw a candidate for a rejuvenation, this is certainly it. So while you're watching, it's been around for a few seconds. If you're a returning viewer, thank you very much for coming back to us. If you're a regular or a subscriber, thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed, please do consider subscribing if you enjoy the content that I'm making here. Well, that's enough of that chat. Let's get on with the video. So here she is. I've already drilled the base off camera and it's just a simple strip down. You can see what it is there, over 3 litre. Usual kind of snap-on deal. The wheels are just held in place by the floor panel in these little slots. Pretty rusty and knocked about, so we'll be polishing them up and cleaning all the rust away. I do like the little bit of extra detailing they put on the underneath of these snap-on cars. Soft plastic insert for the interior that also serves as a suspension. It's not in too bad a condition, but obviously pretty grubby. That's the last vestiges of the front grille and the headlight going. I have ordered replacements for those and I'm hoping that they'll show up in the post quite soon. And there's just a broken bit of the bumper there, the rear bumper. Press the screen out, it's not riveted into place. I'm hoping that I can renovate that one and tidy it up a bit, because when I looked in the catalogue that was a no stock item. There she is, barely any paint on. I think this was a fairly common green that they produced this car in. For my money, not the most attractive thing, so I'll be dreaming up something that I think is a suitable kind of contemporary to the era paint job later on. I'm thinking maybe a maroon and plum, or a plum and a cream base on it. So we've added in the caustic soda, giving it a good polish up. Add the file on it and try to tidy up the best that I can all the casting errors. And having primed the body and the base plate, and although it doesn't show particularly well on the camera, I'm putting a lighter coat of grey on the base plate now to mimic the colour that the plates always are on the bottom of these spot-on cars. And then I'm applying an intercoat clear just to protect the paint a little bit while I'm handling it. Same thing with the main body. I'm applying a lighter coat of grey. I'm doing this one as a two-tone, so the split will be where the chrome strip is on the body, so I'm just making sure we've got a nice bit of coverage on the underneath around the sill area before I put it onto the prop stand and get a good coat on the body. Again, building it up in nice light even coats, because even though I'm going to two-tone it, I don't want any flat spots or light areas that will affect the colour of the darker paint that goes on afterwards. So steady build up a nice light coats. This is a grey that I've mixed up out of the existing paints that I've got. Some of it is an auto-born grey sealer, and some additional white just to bring the colour up a little bit. Now, having flash dried that, this again is the intercoat clear that's going on. It's important that I put the intercoat clear on here and put a reasonable coat on, because I'm going to quite heavily mask the car and I don't want any of the paint stripping off. And the intercoat clear does do a really good job on sealing the paint in, and I've always found helps from any likelihood of pulling the paint off when you're stripping your masking off. You can see that I always do the swage line or the straight line with a vinyl tape and then finish the rest off with a low tack paper. This colour that is again another one that I've mixed. I'm calling this one Plum Dandy. I'm putting her on in nice light coats, but it will eventually end up quite dark, kind of a kind of plum colour, nice rich dark colour. Nice light coats, trying to get even coverage, and hopefully we're going to end up with a nice reflective shiny colour at the end of the process. So nice steady light coats, don't want any runs at this stage, but quite a bit of work on it. So don't want any paint build-ups or runs or anything like that. There she goes, you can see it's starting to darken down all the way across the bonnet and the roof and what have you. But because we've applied that Intercoat Clear, no danger of a product failure, no danger of ripping the paint off with the tape. And here we go. I've already done most of the bits of chrome work and what have you on the body here, and I'm just applying the red to the stop and tail lights on the back. Delicate little job. They're quite badly battered. I cleaned them up as much as I could, but I think this poor little car had been in so many impacts in its lifetime that they're not quite as crisp as they used to be. I'm hoping that a combination of the paint and the tidying up that I did makes them look quite presentable. But I'm pretty happy with it overall for what must be now pushing on a 50-year-old car. Oddly enough, it's a Citadel colour that I'm using on the tail lights. It's called Blood for the Blood Gods, and it dries a kind of a translucent red, and it has the look of reflectors about it. So quite a nice paint. And bonfire orange as usual for the indicators. Round the wraparound indicators on the front there. Same thing on the other side. To help show up the chrome strip, I did the usual thing of stripping back the paint with a scalpel. I didn't include that because I've done it in several other videos, and you can look back at the other ones if you want to get an idea for the process. So we're on assembly now. The screen came up quite well. I couldn't get a replacement screen, disappointingly, but it wasn't too bad once I'd polished it up and dipped it in the floor polish. It'd come up reasonably well. You can still see it a bit, but I'm happy enough with the overall there. Fitting the replacement bumpers. These arrive without any drill holes in them or anything to hold them in place. You have to drill a couple of little holes and file them so they'll pick up on the original locating pins of the casting. It's only a 5-minute job, but it's worth knowing that it needs to be done, that they're not just ready to go when they arrive. Pop the back bumper on, holding the axles into their locating spots and sitting them straight on top of the suspension components. Obviously I've pre-drilled and we're just super gluing now into place and popping our rivets on. Bit of a fiddle, but it's in. And hit it with a zip kicker, give the glue a chance to go off. Goes off quite quickly. You can actually watch it evaporate, and once you've seen the liquid evaporate, the glue is gone. It's set. Round to the other hand now. Not very Not very well executed, blocking the camera as usual, but I do keep continually trying to improve these camera angles for you. I'm sure eventually I'll find exactly the right one. But I kind of like this better than the overhead view. You can see a little bit more of what's going on. So once again, super glue and zip kicker. Give it a second or two to evaporate. And we can turn it over on its wheels. See if we've got a roller. There we go, looks like we're in business. Just the number plates to go on now. And here she is on the turntable. Spot on Rover P6. I think she's come out pretty well. I'm quite happy with the two-tone paint job. It's very much of the era. Had quite a bit done to it on this one. It's had new tyres, it's had the wheels polished up, quite a bit of tidying up done on the bodywork. We've applied our two-tone paint work and put some additional highlights on. And overall, I don't think she's come out too bad. Well, once again, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please consider, if you haven't already, clicking a like and subscribing. If you have any comments, I'm always happy to read them. I try to reply to them as much as I can. This has been a Hellboy 59 production. Thank you very much for watching. You've been very patient, and goodbye.